Hey there. So I recently bought a used 2021 Ford F-150. It's an FX Ford truck. I bought it because it was a 3.5. I wanted a 3.5 truck, and it had the max tow package on it. So those are the things I wanted: 3.5 and the max tow. And I was coming from if you've seen some of my older videos, had a 2002 GMC 1500 HD. If you're not familiar with that series, it was, how would you describe it best? Probably it was in a lot of ways like a 2500 and almost a 2500 HD of those years, like the '01s through '07s, I think, or something like that. So, but it was definitely a heavy duty truck, definitely a great truck, a stout truck. But I bought this F-150 for, I still wanted, I needed fuel economy. We've been doing a lot of gigs outside of town, doing a lot more miles and stuff like that. So I needed fuel economy, but I still needed capability. So, um, and this was a truck I was going to do nothing to. So of course I grab a tonneau cover for it, like most of you guys do yourself. And so I threw that on there, and then I was just going to leave it alone, and that lasts for about 5 minutes, right? So, and then I thought about doing a leveling kit, and I thought about not doing a leveling kit, but I went out there and started measuring, and consistently the driver's side of the truck was at least a quarter inch, if not a half inch lower on the driver's side. Now, anybody that knows me knows I got some OCD issues, but those are little things that bug me. And I know there's a lot of you guys out there that bugs too, if you go out and take measurements. And there's a whole bunch that would never even think about even measuring that. But those little things bug me. And I always like my torsion bar GMC and Chevy HD trucks, because you could, only if you're trying to level the truck out, not really crank up the front end, but just trying to level it out. Like I did, I had a 4.5 inch BDS kit on the 1500 HD. So I was able to just slightly tweak that a little bit, and just to get that perfectly level in the front. Um, so so that made me happy. But I absolutely could not deal with it, because I know once I get in it, it's going to drop another 3/16 of an inch to maybe a quarter inch on the driver's side. To some of you guys, that's nothing. To some of you guys, I know that's an issue too, and it's an issue to me. So anyways, started checking into the like the standard, I guess you just call them like the puck style kits and stuff like that. But then I started digging deeper, and realizing that I did want some adjustability. So long story short, I ended up going with the Eibach Pro Truck Stage 2 kit. And that's exactly what I bought for the truck. I put that on a couple of weeks ago. And the goal was really not to level the truck. You guys know how rear end heavy those trucks come, from the factory. So I'm trying to think if it was, depending on how it sat, I mean, it was like 2.5 to 3 inches of rake on the truck. So I didn't want quite that much rake. I don't tow all the time, but I do tow a utility trailer. I do tow a pontoon boat and a camper. It's only a 26-foot camper, 5,000 pounds dry, but still it's weight. So I did want to keep some rake on it too. So I wasn't looking to level it, and I wasn't looking to completely level anyways. And I wasn't looking to, I'm not looking to throw 34s on there or anything, or 35s. I don't want to do any cutting, number one. And number two, I didn't want all the fuel economy to diminish, because I do need to keep the fuel economy. So with that said, I have settled down to the Eibach kit that I told you about. And the reason I did that, because if you don't know, those are adjustable coilovers in the front. So that's the kit I bought. Let's walk outside. It's a fresh day today. I threw it on a couple weekends ago, had it aligned a few days later after I made some tweaks to it. And I may have to make another tweak to it. We'll cover that probably, hopefully, at the end of the video. But let's take a walk outside and take a look at the truck. All right, so sorry about all the sun. Hopefully you guys get a good view of everything. But here's how she sits right now. I brought the front up. It's about 2 inches above where it was from the factory. Sometimes after I park it, depending on where it sets, maybe it's between 2 and 2.25. But it's been 2, sometimes 2.125. Let's go to the other side here. All right, here we are from the other side here. So here's the passenger side, and as it's set right now, and I swear I walk around this thing, I swear I see it with my eye without even putting a tape to it. But so I got to occupy my mind with other things. But the passenger side here is probably up. I think it's an eighth right now of an inch. And the only thing that bugs me, I did have somebody get in it once, and when they got out of it, it actually came up on the driver's side about 3/16 of an inch. So I know if it's already lower on the driver's side, it just goes down lower, and that just bugs me, like I said. So I'll quit harping on that. But let's, and another thing too was for you guys who really get into measuring stuff, the passenger rear was always consistently higher than the driver's side rear. So it almost looked like it had a little bit more rake to it from the passenger side, if you know what I mean. So let's take some measurements here real quick. Never tried this with a phone in my hands. Hopefully we can do this halfway decent. If I'm not mistaken, when I got out of it last night, the driver's side was just a hair lower. So there we go, about up against the tire. So there you go, we're about 39, and let's see, let's get on the ground by the tire. About 39 and about, I guess about, we'll call it, what, 9/16 right there. And let's shoot over the passenger side real quick. Oh, and hey, if I don't forget, I'll give you guys some shots of the angles up front too. So yeah, so here's the passenger side here. So I'm trying to look at the camera, the sun's blinding me, but where we're at about 11/16 there, something like that. So anyways, that's the way it sets right now. Now probably about 7-8 times out of 10 it's higher on the passenger side. But this is one of the most even measurements I got, the way it sat right here on the back, actually, when I measured last night. So you want to just go ahead and call that 41 or so. Yeah, I wish the back was this even all the time. So yeah, I'm good with the back right now, but that is the most even that I've seen, the back and stuff. So anyways, I got some other video that I will that I'll roll in here when I was doing the lift. It's not very technical. There's a lot more better videos and stuff out there than what I've done or what I could do. So yeah, that's it right there. And I will probably end up tweaking the front just a little bit, you know, like maybe another turn here on the driver's side, and maybe bring the passenger side down a half turn or something like that. But yeah, let's I'll try to get under there before the video's done, give you guys some shots of some angles too. Let's roll with some other video. Alright guys, I have no idea what's going to actually make it in the video, but I just want to show you here real quick. I was able to again on this 21 F-150, I was able to get the stock strut assembly out without loosening the axle nut and the axle, and without loosening the lower control arms at all. So fortunately there was room to get it out. I had taken some I take some cardboard here actually, and I put the cardboard in between the lower strut assembly, the coilover, and the axle boot here, just to make sure that that nothing hit or tore this. But I was able to use a couple different pry bars here and pry up on that strut assembly and get it out. I guess the key thing here, without removing the lower strut bolts as well. So no loosening of the control arms, no removing the axle nut and the axle. And let me take you over to the actually, here's the factory strut assembly here, and as you see, the lower bolts are in there. So anyways, I know that's been a topic of discussion before. I don't do this stuff all the time, but there we go. So it's time to get the first new one through in here. All right, so here you go. Passenger side is thrown in. A couple things torqued down. I got to go back and retorque everything before I throw the tire back on. But there she is, setting up in there. Went in pretty smooth as expected. Got the all the wiring, wheel speed sensor, and all that back up. And yeah, it's a floor jack right there, but it's really not supporting nothing. Just really for safety purposes right now. The jack stands are doing the work, but I like being triple safe. You know what I'm saying? And here you go, the driver's side kind of all open up, ready to go. The lower or the lower strut nuts are off there, and the top's out. As soon as I get done with this little break, I'm gonna just take the pry bar and finish prying that out. Again, I'm gonna take some cardboard, stuff some cardboard in here. All right, so right after the install of the Eibach Pro Truck Stage 2 kit, all I did really was just drive it around the yard right now, right after the install. So obviously not down the road yet, so there's nothing to really get accurate measurements from, but I will tell you this. Right out of the box, it went from left front 37 1/4 to 40 3/8, right front 37 1/2 to the right front after install 40 5/8. Again, 2021 F-150 with the max tow package. So this is what they came preset at from the factory. Obviously, when I finish it up, I'm going to drive it for a bit, get everything to settle in, and I do plan to lower the front a bit, but that's what everything looks like right now until I get it finished up. There you go. All right, so just threw the rear shocks on. Haven't touched the front yet after the lift or the coilovers were installed. This is just literally a drive to the driveway. Making sure I didn't do nothing too dumb and no creaks or anything. She's just running the truck for a second, little buddy. She's just driving the truck around the house for a second. All right, I'll tell you in a second, buddy. And there she sits, ready for me to go get some miles on her and some bumpy roads and get those fronts settled in before we do anything else. There you go. So this is the process of adjusting these coilovers using the provided Eibach spanner wrench here. So, see if I can, best to get full turns. I just threw a piece of painter's tape right here so that I know each turn on this one right here. To try to get it where I need it. Hopefully this is the last time I do this. I want to do this about 2 turns here. So there we got almost 1 turn, obviously. Now I've not tried this while the wheel and tire are on the truck yet, so I don't know how that would turn out. All right, so there we go. Once you get the wheel and tire off, quick and easy. I just shot it with a little WD-40. Obviously everything's still new and clean, but just to help it out and to turn easy. So here we go. Throw the wheel and tire back on, get some measurements after a little test drive, and we'll go from there. Isn't that crazy? It's still my favorite truck right there. The old 97 Chevy. You guys know what I'm talking about. There we go. I just pulled her around back front of the barn here in the rocks, and it's funny the way it stops here. The way it sets, man, I like the way it sets right here. Just a little bit of rake left, definitely up in the front end. And the front end almost looks like it's probably going to be setting a tad higher on the driver's side than the passenger side this time. So I guess it depends on the way it sets, but most of the time, like you guys, I would be doing measurements on level surfaces. So, but I have found too, going back to a half-ton truck, that obviously the suspension is a lot softer and stuff like that. So, you know, I'm used to just, you know, stiffer Super Duties and 2500 HDs, and you know, they kind of set the way they set. So I guess I'm getting back used to this. So, but anyways, just sharing my thoughts with you guys. All right, so hey, just back here in the shed here, and we're gonna go up and take a couple more unprompted measurements. This is what I would do anyways if I wasn't filming this for you guys. See how close we are, so I can make that decision on whether I need to tweak anything, make myself happy. That's what she's looking like. All right, so here we go. Let's try to get you the driver's side again. On the ground, up against the tire in the center. Hey, look at that. We're back at 39 and 9/16. Oops, there you go. Sorry about that. All right, so there's driver's side. Let's see if she makes a liar out of me. And passenger side, here we go. Hey, look at that, 39 and a half. About an 8th tire or 16th tire on the other side. I'm good with that. Good with that. All right, let's see how we're doing in the back. Remember, this is always the higher side, driver's side in the back. And what about 41 and 1, 2, 3/16 or so? And driver's side rear. And we're about 14, yeah. So that's where we're at in the back. It's at 7/8 there. Unless I'm wrong, let me know. Yeah, there we go. So anyways, yeah, so again, I know we're kind of splitting hairs here, but that's what I do sometimes, I guess. Let's get you guys some angles up front. Oh, and by the way, if you guys are wondering about fuel economy, I know a lot of people are. Like I said, this is a 21 14th gen. As you can see, it's got 84,000 miles on it. I bought a higher mileage truck for the year. And as you see, I got 281 miles on this particular on trip 2 here. I'd reset it after I'd stop all the stop and go and all my testing and stuff, and after putting the coilovers on. So I kind of reset it once I get back to normal driving, and my normal driving is just, you know, if it's 55, I'm a 57, 58 mile an hour guy. So running around doing a couple gigs over the weekend, back and forth. And stopping and going and leaving it running here at the house and stuff. It was 19.6 or something. Yesterday we took a ride out to the cottage, and it's a mile, or it's an hour each way. So 2 hours each way, and most of it is 55 miles an hour, obviously with some stop and go towns in between. So really just kind of cruising, but it's the way I would drive my other truck. So that's what we actually ended up at 21.3. But I left it running here in the driveway for a little bit. So as you see, 21.1, I guess at what, 7 hours, 7:40 of driving time, 281 miles, and averaging 21.1. So anyways, stock tires and all that good stuff, but that's where we're at with that. So. All right, so hey, I'm going to try to get you guys some angles, and I know from watching other videos, it's really hard to tell what angle the phone is at. But I'm going to try to keep my phone straight right here and then pull it back so you guys can see the angles a little bit. And I should show you the upper arms too. But I don't know if this is going to be worth anything or not, but we'll give her a shot. Trying to keep my phone straight there, but anyway, so what I decided to do, if I can hold my phone and do this at the same time, I brought out a small little level we use for camping. So if I try to keep this level a little bit even with the CV there, you can, if you guys can see where the bubble is there, and then we'll kind of put it, try to get it about level right there. So this is the angle that we're on right here at about 2 inches of a lift there. So, and I noticed, I didn't realize at first, but the little engine cover, the little felt, or the underbody cover that you got to remove for oil changes is missing. Let me know if you guys leave them off your truck or if you leave them on. But here's the front driver's side now. Front driver's side. If you can see that, I'll not sure if this will work or not because I didn't switch hands, but if we try to keep that level to the axle right there, if you guys can see that. So I guess about right there would be, well, that's weird if that's level. But anyways, I hope that helps a little bit. If it's silly, sorry about that. I'm trying. I do live music videos, not a lot of truck videos. All right, and I'm not sure if I said in one of the clips that I'm going to try to put in that when I did the coil over on the driver's side, it was much easier to come in here and just lift this. I don't know if it's sound dampener or what that is there, but just lift that out of the way. It was a lot easier to take the back two bolts off the factory assembly and then the new coil over to get it back in. So let's talk about leveling the headlights. All I did there is just a cheap little screwdriver I had in the shop right here. In case you guys are going to do this and haven't looked at other videos yet, here's your headlight adjustment screw right here. And what I did is I threw a little piece of painter's tape on here, and basically with this approximately 2 inches of lift on this particular truck, I had 3.5 turns down to get the headlights very acceptable. Seems like we can see far enough in front of us at night and without blinding people. I just did this the other day because I hadn't even drove this at night since I had done this. So I just did this just a few days ago. So far so good, but about 3.5 turns on each side. Really simple, nothing to fret over. I did do pulled it in front of the garage up front, measured back 25 feet, measured about halfway up on the headlights, threw some tape on the door, and stuff like that. And there was a little piece of concrete, the little entrance to the garage, that was a little off. So I know that through my measurements off. I had originally did 4.25 turns, but I had to back them down to 3.5. So 3.5 on this particular truck is pretty close. So let's get one more shot walking around here. So here's the driver's side, obviously. That's what she looks like. As you can tell by the measurements, still got like 1.5 inches of rake, so I'm good with that. That's what I was shooting for. And there you go on the passenger side. I will tell you that the very last thing that I did for this coilover system was to remove it was the passenger side rear shock. And after 3 years, here in Michigan anyways, obviously in the salt, for you guys that are not in the salt, the factory lower bolt for the shock was frozen. It was frozen right in there to the metal bushing. So I was real close to getting out the grinder and cutting the bolt off, but while I was under there, I just started spraying it a little bit, beating on it, wrenching on it, and was able to finally break the bolt loose after a bit. So that was the biggest pain out of this whole thing, and it was definitely unexpected. And here's a view here of the upper A arms here, if you can see that. This is on the driver's side and how they've ended up. Like I said, you guys feel free to let me know. I wanted to stay conservative for the reasons that I gave, and I also don't want to run into problems down the road and just end up tearing the front end apart sooner than need be. So You guys let me know what you think about those. Hope this helped somebody out with some of the info I gave. I know this is not produced as well as some of the other videos on YouTube and stuff, but hopefully this was able to help somebody out. One of the biggest things I seen with the instructions, it looked like the instructions from Eibach, and I could be wrong about this, were more geared towards the previous gen F-150s, the sway bar links and stuff in a different location. Where you had to unbolt those. I think there were a couple different things, you know, and doing some brake lines and stuff like that. But the meat and potatoes of changing the coilovers were about the same. So as for the ride quality, I can tell you that is it stiffer than stock? 100% yes. Would I call it a stiff ride in general? Absolutely not. So I think it you feel everything quicker. I think it rebounds quicker, and it does feel a little bit more planted. So I'm happy about that. So not that this setup is exclusively for towing, but I haven't towed with it yet, so I can't wait to tow with it. See if that makes any difference. If you guys got any questions at all, something I left out or something I can help with, just ask down below, and I'll do my best to get back to them. So hope you guys have a good day, and God bless you. Take care.